Hello, welcome back to Patty Puckett Pouring Art. Today I'm going to be doing some bigger, these seashells, make a little ocean with some waves. This one happens to be a magnet. These will be, they're pretty big, little soap dishes or just decoration laying around. I'm going to be putting whales and some manta rays, turtles inside. This one, I had to dam it off. I used this metal tape and some silicone because it won't hold any resin. It'll just leak out. So hopefully that'll work. Got them as level as I can. This one I painted beforehand, and I'm telling you, I love this PBO Studio iridescent blue-green. It's my favorite for any kind of painting water because of how it shimmers. I'm also going to be using fake sand since you can't use sand in Hawaii. I got this at Michael's, and this is Ashland Decorative Filler in the gold. I mixed some diamond dust and some gold glitter in here to make it sparkle. Really pretty. I'm going to be using probably some stones, some seashells, starfish, and possibly, I'm not sure if I'm going to put these little turtles. I painted some of them. So I'm going to be using clear pour epoxy resin 50/50. I can pour this pretty deep. I'm going to be coloring the resin with alcohol ink and a transparent pigment, resin pigment. What else am I going to do here? Oh, and then I'm going to make waves with alcohol ink and just resin titanium white paste. So I got a lot of mixing to do, so I'll be right back. Alright, I thought I'd try something a little bit different. I took the sand and glue all Elmer's. I mixed it with Elmer's glue all. I'm only going to do one shell with it. I know it's going to dry clear, but I still don't know if the sparkle's going to be there and come back. What I usually do is after I do the waves, I just use a paintbrush and paint. Usually I paint the Tri-Art liquid glass, and then I just sprinkle the sand on top. But since these might be soap dishes, I want to make sure, I mean, even if I put this down, I'm probably going to go over it with resin with the brush just to make sure it adheres really well. So I think the only one I'm going to do like this is this one that I've painted. So let me go do that, and of course it's got to dry before I do anything. So this will probably be a multi-day deal. I'm going to move it over. Room for everything, at least for this one. It's going to be multi. Okay. So I got it thick enough. I don't want it running into the water. I mean, if it's on the water a little bit, that's fine. So I hope that's thick enough. I put way too much for what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna, I've seen other people do it like this. I never have. Alright, we'll see how that experiment goes. I have some other little things to do over here, so I don't want to waste. So I'll come back and we can just do the other shells like I usually do. I'll be back. While the sand is wet, I'm going to go ahead and put some seashells on that. see how that dries. If it's not sparkly enough, I can always paint around it and sprinkle some sand on the top of it. Alright, what I did is these three are stickers, and this one is a film that I cut out. And we got some manta rays, turtles, some more manta rays, and a whale. So I just stuck them in there because I'm going to pour the resin over it. And I mixed up the resin. It's sort of like a turquoise. It's translucent, so you should be able to see those underneath. I'm not sure I made enough, but I wanted to test the two colors together. I used this color. This is a resin pigment with some alcohol ink, and I got a nice turquoise. I think I'm going to start. I just got to go ahead and do right here. Now some of them I'll do with sand, and some I won't. Yeah, see, that's not very much. I think that's a little too dark. Sometimes the shell just speaks for itself. Sometimes it's pretty without the sand, just sort of simple. Okay, so that's a little, not very much. I will definitely put some sand on this one. I'm going to mix some more, but now I know about how much I don't want to go too dark. The resin. Okay, I think this is a little more translucent, which is what I want. I shouldn't be stirring this over my work because I know it could happen. All right, let's pour this in. Do you guys ever just, like, I have stuff everywhere. Projects over there, projects over here. I mean, I'm outside, so I have a little fan blowing. This one had a little hole in the back, so I put a piece of tape and some silicone on that, so I'm hoping it doesn't leak. I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow to see if I want to do the sand like this or if I want to do the way I usually do. I think for now we're good. So I'll see you tomorrow. It's the next day and the resin is cured. I'll just show you this. So this did turn out okay. It's hard. I mean, it wouldn't be good for a soap dish because it would get all grimy. Okay, it's been a couple days and I've done some work on this, and what I did was try to make some white bubbly waves, wave foam. On this particular one, it's dry, but I thought the waves were a little bit too white because I mixed white paint in and I wanted to mellow it out a little bit. So the recipe for this, let me show you one I did do that I sort of like, the little one. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. The waves are not so bright, foamy. I like it. If I want the waves to stay, if you're going to be handling it a lot or I can just use the liquid glass and just paint over that. Just be careful to not get it on the resin. But I put the sand down with liquid glass, I shook it off, and I didn't like the beach before, so that's what I did with this one, except I didn't shake it off yet. So what I do is I just hold it over the garbage can and just shake it off. Better. Just use this brush. Okay, the recipe is, where is it? Where's my paper? Not hard. It's 1 part water, 4 parts Mod. Yes, let me show you. Mod Podge. You can use the gloss or the matte. I don't think it really makes any difference. On this particular one that I made another one, and I used Dawn dishwasher soap. Well, let me go ahead and tell you the recipe first before I get into that. 4 parts this, 1 part water, a half a part or less, depending on how white you want it. I just use this titanium white from Handy Art. And 1 part dish soap. I used Dawn, and it seemed like I didn't get the bubbles that I really wanted. I had to blow real hard and then it wasn't coming up, and so I used in my shower the gel or the soap that I use lathers really well, so I just used body soap. So whatever lathers good should work. If you want to use body soap, it works, depending on your soap, I guess. So that's the recipe, and what you do is you just take a straw, I have in here, and I don't want to get it all over here in case it overflows. You could put the lid on it and put a hole so it doesn't do that, but with this recipe is a lot better than the other one. So I'm just going to blow on it. Get a bunch of bubbles. You don't want all those. You don't want the big ones. Those are hard to pop. Just get rid of all of them by stirring it up. And what you're left with is more manageable bubbles at the bottom. When you scoop it out, you want to make sure you don't go too deep where you get a bunch of liquid on your bubbles. I use a small palette knife to put it on and pop those. So I'm going to go ahead and do one right now. Go ahead and do this one. So I just scoop some up like that and just sort of lay it down along the edge. Depends on how big you want it. You know, just keep it going. Different size bubbles. If you find that they're popping, you don't want any breeze on them, so you might want to cover it up. I had a couple that I didn't cover, and I'll show you what happened. And if you find that they do, then you can just put this, do another batch, and put it right over the other bubbles. Okay? So there you go. I think that looks pretty good. There's some big ones and little ones. I'm not sure how many of those will actually pop. I'm hoping not very many. So I'm going to put this aside. This is going to be, you know, at first I was thinking soap dishes, but I think I'm going to make it a wall hanging because the soap would definitely destroy the sand and stuff. But at the end, when this is all dry, I'll go ahead and do the liquid glass. Or you can use resin or bright tone. put it on a brush and just paint this so it adheres a little better. But I'm going to go ahead and put a hanger on the back of the bigger ones and use it as a hanger. Cover that. It's a little breezy over here. You also want to make sure that it's a little level to where you want it. So if it does have some liquid in it, it doesn't run where you don't want it to run. I'll go ahead and do this one. So notice I'm not going too deep with it. There you go. I'll go ahead and put seashells on this one and the other one after this dries. And this one, I think it's a little bit too big and heavy for a magnet. So I don't know what I'm gonna, this will probably just be to set around on in your bathroom or your bedroom counter, wherever. Put that to the side. Make sure it's not too leaning so it ruins it. So the other one I did, this one, I went ahead and sanded down. It was sort of sharp, and I think I'll make this a hanger too, but I might just resin that and go ahead and put more shells. I didn't want to put sand because the shell is so beautiful. This has a manta ray in it. I'm still working on that one. And I already showed you these. Oh, I wanted to show you. This is what happened when the bubbles pop. They sort of flatten out. I mean, it's okay. It's really not bad. This is going to be an ornament. I'm going to go ahead and drill right through this because it already had a hole in it, and make an ornament out of it, Christmas ornament. So I'm going to go ahead and put some right over it right now. I want the littler bubbles here. Pretty little. That popped. You gotta be careful you don't get a whole lot, or else I think when they pop, it turns into liquid, and then it can run. Next time I'm going on the bigger one. Welcome back. It's the next day. I think I like how they turned out. Now, some of these, the bubbles popped. There's a few that are still up, but a lot of these popped, and I think if I add a little more Mod Podge to it, they may not, but I like the color, and it still looks good even though they're popped. Let's see it very well. There we go. Yeah, I like it. This is the other one. I think, like I said, I think that's too white. Here's another one I did yesterday. More realistic. And here's one that I did over because I didn't like the first layer. So now it's time to add some shells, and what I use is the Tri-Art liquid glass. Things stick to that very well. I have some turtles over here and some seashells, so I'm just gonna start working on that. So the sand is already stuck. I think I did that with resin. I'm going to put a turtle. So I dip it in, that's sort of off camera. Okay, so I'll let these dry, and I think that's it. Get some good pictures of everything on the end. I still have this one that I haven't put. I wanted to see how this turned out, so I'll be putting some foam on this one. And then at the end I'll have some pictures. Thanks so much for joining me. Appreciate it.